Hi everyone, I'm Claire Morenon. I'm CISA's communications manager, and I'm here today with Nicole Blum and Jonathan Carr. They're the owners of Carr's Ciderhouse in Hadley, and we are going to get a little tour of their new farm stand and talk about all of their cider products and all of that good stuff. So, hello, welcome.
Hi, thanks.
Good morning.
Do you want to start by just telling us a little bit about your farm and what you all do?
Sure, you want to start? Go for it.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jonathan Carr, co-owner of Carr Ciderhouse, and let's see. We started our orchard back in 2006. We bought a really old sort of orchard falling into disrepair and started planting new trees, and bought this really beautiful old apple press and restored it. And we've been producing hard cider since 2011, and we sell a lot of farmers markets usually, and do a little, see us around in the local stores. And customers pulling into our farm stand, maybe. I think I'm going to step away and let Nicole take over.
All right.
Yeah.
Carry on, Nicole.
If that might happen, we're not actually open right now, but it's okay. We tell people that they can always come by even if the doors are shut and text me. I have my phone number outside, and because we're always around, the doors are open, so it's very enticing. Anyway, yeah, so we've been doing farmers markets for about 8 or 9 years, Boston area, and also like in the Berkshires, and some around here, and kind of started just moving to ones that are further out because we sell a lot of our stuff in shops around here. And we've never had a place you could buy directly from on our farm. But then when COVID happened, we realized we weren't going to be able to do the farmers markets anymore. They were just going to look too different for the kind of products that we had. And we were really like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And as that's happening, CISA announced that they had this emergency loan, and it kind of kicked us into gear, into sort of fast tracking an idea that we've been talking about for years, which was to have a place on our farm where we could sell directly. It just felt in the past like we had too many other things going on and we couldn't like focus on it. Like we're every, few days going to different markets or whatever. And so it just made it happen. It made it happen. And we got the loan and built a cute little farm shop right on Route 47. Our farm is separated into two. We have the orchard, which is on Mount Warner, and it's separated from the 2 acres where we have our nursery and our animals and our farm shop, which is just across the pond. So the water separates it. Otherwise, it would be contiguous. But it's also right on Route 47. So cyclists are always going by. And it is a thoroughfare, from going north to south. So it seems like a really great spot for it. Yeah.
And that's where you are right now. You're in your new farm stand.
Yep. We're in our new little farm shop right now. And it's stocked with like all of our hard ciders, as well as other cider-based products like vinegars and syrups and things like that, Shrubs. Yeah.
Will you talk a little bit about some of your other products? So hard cider is sort of the core of your business, it sounds like.
Well, that's what we started with. And it has, gone through various stages, but what we've settled on is wild fermentation. So we do natural fermentation. It's all wild yeasts that are on our apples. We have a no-spray orchard. So, and all of the trees that we planted when we first started planting up the new parts of this orchard were really specific to cider making. So some like traditional old-fashioned English cider apples, as well as some that are more common around here, like golden russet. And they kind of give us a balance of the different things we want, like big tannins or, sharpness or bittersweets, things like that. So that's one line that we have. And we have dry ciders that are fermented to full dryness. And then for the farm shop only, so you have to come here to get them, we have some semi-sweets because they have to be refrigerated. We don't add anything to our ciders, no preservatives. So they could start to ferment again. So we keep them refrigerated and they're fresh and alive and delicious and just a little bit sweet. And we use fruits from other farms around here to back sweeten. Like this year we used some strawberries from Atlas Farm that I made a syrup out of. And so one of our ciders has some of that in it. It's delicious. blueberries from the Benson place up in Heath, and fruits from our own farm as well, besides the apples.
So
So
is this
that-
a new line because you have the farm store now? It's possible to sell these in a different sort of way, or have you been making these for longer?
Well, like I said, we've kind of gone through an evolution in our cider making philosophy, and we used to sulfite and add things to help stabilize, which are very typical and normal, and pretty much everyone uses like sorbates or whatever. So, but we didn't want to do that anymore. We didn't want industrial inputs. Wanted to keep it very simple, very traditional. And so we kind of stopped doing those at the farmers markets, which was like kind of big, huge deal. And it decreased our sales because there are people that really like their cider a little sweeter. And so this allows us, like being here and having a refrigerator and being able to just like keep things fresh, allows us to do that. So it's really fun. Like we get to play around a lot with different flavors and additions, while keeping it totally natural and alive and everything. So it's really fun.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
That's the hard cider. Yeah, and then we also have like, go ahead, please ask.
Sorry, Zoom. I was just going to say, it's interesting. So you have this new farm store, which is a new way to sell to people and a new way to welcome people onto the farm, but it also enables you to adapt like how you're actually making cider and what you have to offer. That's kind of I hadn't really expected that as another benefit of adding the farm store to your business.
Yeah, it's definitely turned out to be like that in a way that I didn't even think would be a silver lining or an extra benefit or whatever. And it does keep it like fresh and fun for me too, because every week I'm like, either I've made the syrups already and they're in the freezer and I can pull them out when it's time to bottle cider, or like our pawpaws. We have pawpaws down here on our homestead, and they're a fruit that doesn't keep for very long. They get damaged really easily. You can't ship them around, so they're like a fruit that are really they're not really a commercial fruit. So then what do you do with it? And they're delicious and they're kind of weird and wonderful and tropical, even though they're North America's largest indigenous fruit that you've never heard of. And our tree makes a lot. And so I make it into pulp every year, and then I can use that to make a syrup out of, and then we can add it. So this time of year, I get to make, some pawpaw edition ciders, which is really unusual and unique and very fun. So
yeah, I've never seen those anywhere else.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Welcome.
Had to sell some cider.
Yay!
Nicole was just telling us about about to tell us about some of your other products, aside from the hard ciders that you have to offer.
Well, we have a number of like really traditional, things that would have been made 100, 200 years ago even. So cider syrup, which is called boiled cider, which is just essentially a cider reduction. Really fun to cook with, a really versatile thing in the kitchen. And cider vinegar, of course, which everybody knows. And then we've been making a lot of shrubs this year too, which are a really fun way to preserve fruit, because it's a mixture of like essentially fruit juice, vinegar, and sugar. And then it's like a concentrate, and you can add it to a drink. It's like sparkling water, make a yummy beverage, put it in cocktails. It's so versatile. We've made one with elderflower and strawberries and blueberries, blackberries, and it's like this really excellent traditional way to like capture the essence of the fruit. So long as you like a touch of vinegar in it. So as long as you're okay with that. But
yeah. And it's kind of like that, and it pairs well with like the things that we're doing with the fruity ciders that are now back because we have a farm shop. So it's like make these syrups, and there's these different ways to preserve the fruit, either putting it in the cider, putting it in the shrubs, and
I've heard people refer to shrubs as sort of like the original sports drink. Like people drink them to, for energy on hot days, and anyway, you can all year round, but.
Really thirst quenching for sure.
And our switchel in particular, which has been like, we've been making switchel longer than we've been making other fruit shrubs. The fruit shrubs have just kind of come in the past couple of years, and then with the farm shop, I'm a little more in earnest. But switchel has ginger in it, and it's sweetened with like a light cider syrup. So it's like kind of like that was what they called haymaker's punch. And Farmer's Gatorade. But a lot of athletes like it too because it has ginger, so like you can really chug it, settles your stomach, and totally hydrates and electrolytes and all that stuff. Yeah, and it's yum.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. Do you want to tell us a little bit just about like the history of the land that you're on? And I know that you have a maybe unusually old cider press that you've brought back to life.
Sure, yeah, I'll talk about that. So we've been told, and according to the research I did at the Registry of Deeds, we believe it's true. The orchard was established somewhere in the Civil War era. And we got a chance to talk about it with Jessie Agassiz before she passed away, who was our farming neighbor at that time. And she told us that she had stories from her grandmother about them dragging mud up from the pond to improve the soil when they planted the trees originally. And that sounds like a lot of work because, yeah, they would have done it with horses. But so anyway, it's passed through a lot of hands throughout the years, including it was an Atkins satellite orchard at one point. We bought it when it was kind of falling into decline, and it was full of old trees. And unfortunately, we couldn't save most of them. We've removed a lot of them at this point, and we're in the process of replanting some old English cider apple varieties, some old American varieties like Golden Russet, and we're hopefully about to do a big Baldwin planting. That was a major apple here in New England up until the 1930s.
Makes a great cider too.
And as part of the orchard plan, we wanted to make things out of cider, so we found this old cider press in Ohio in 2008 and trucked it back here.
Potatoes.
And so I had to restore it and rebuild it and fit it to our barn. And it's a total contraption. It's kind of loud and crazy, and there's gears and pulleys, and but it's still like, even though it's so old and made of oak and cast iron, it's still really effective small scale technology. It's like called a rack and cloth press, which, I mean, they haven't changed much for small farms. It's still the same method they use these days. It's just made out of stainless instead of our older materials. But we fitted them with stainless pans and things like that, so it can be all sanitized according to modern protocol. So
yeah, it's lovely. It's really cool. It's really fun. It's like a big day. Like when we press, it's usually kind of start fairly early and go throughout the whole day, and it's just sort of this system. Everybody has a place, and in the end we get all this juice, and it's just every year it surprises me how kind of amazing and wonderful it is.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of hard work, and it takes half the next day to wash it down again. But it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah. So that's sort of the history. Why don't you show us, can we do a little tour of the farm store, and you can show us like what this new offering is and what the future looks like for you all.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty high tech. It's a shed. I know Whole Foods is concerned. I think Jeff Bezos may be interested in maybe buying us out, but we're going to show it to you.
All right. Sure. Okay. So you probably heard in this video that trucks and stuff have been driving by because we're right on 47. I'm going to walk out. Oh, shoot. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here, but I think that the video's off.
Okay, let me find Zoom again. Oh, there you are. Sorry, my thumb. All right, how's that? Can you see?
Yes.
Great. So I'm going to just walk out to the road here, just so people, when they drive by the sign, they're like, oh, right, that's what this is. So we have a little sign. And little parking area, and then that's our farm shops at the end of our driveway. Our
so
house
sweet.
is down further, and we have our little some chestnuts out here that are dropping right now, and it's a little pathway. It's accessible. I'm pretty sure no one's come with a wheelchair, but we're pretty sure it'll work.
Nice.
And I have our hours out here. And also, like I was saying earlier, my phone number in case someone wants to text me and they can honk. If we're here, we will come in.
That's so great. Oh,
All right. So I'll come in and there's a big welcome sign. It kind of talks about the nitty gritty, like what to do if we're not here. And somebody wants, sometimes I open up the shop and I put the cider away because can't have hard cider out here unless we're out here.
sure.
But it tells what to do if you want to buy something. And then there's all these products. These are all our pantry products. So we've got the cider syrup and switchel and jelly, and then Shrubs there. And then our
And your book?
cookbook, because we wrote a cookbook a couple of years ago. Yeah, we have a cookbook that we wrote. Story published it. It's wonderful. It was so much fun. And it's 127 recipes cooking with cider.
Wow.
In all its forms, hard cider, fresh cider. And then tells how to make every single thing we make because they're all traditional and they're not ours, but we love to make them and we'd love it if other people did too. And then these are our dry hard ciders stay out in the barn here. And we're about to fit a small refrigerator in here for the cool ones. Otherwise, our refrigerator's out back now. And yeah, a little list of things. And then people, this is another thing that's really important to us, actually, I wanted to share. So underneath, we have a place that people can bring their bottles back. So bottle return. We're wanting to create a circular economy. We have our bottles all printed with, they're silk screened.
Mhm.
And so we can take them back and wash them and sanitize them and reuse them. And then we don't have to keep buying new stuff and putting things in the waste stream. And it's been working really great, much better than when we sell at shops and even much better than we sell at farmers markets. People remember and it brings them back and it gives us a lot to talk about and, just like how they liked it and, what they're interested in trying next. And so, yeah, there.
Lovely. It looks so great.
Thank you.
What an exciting thing to have newly open.
Yeah, we're really happy about it.
And your products are all so beautifully, thought through and labeled, and everything looks so nice.
Thank you.
It seems like you're really having fun, experimenting with different products and different fruits and, incorporating that creativity. So that's really, really great to hear about too.
I can see you.
I don't know, when I was selling cider there, I'm not sure if you and Nicole talked about it, but I just wanted to say a really big thank you, CISA, because we got your emergency farm loan, and this is how we built the farm stand.
Yeah, so important. We couldn't have done it literally. So.
Yeah, it was an amazing gift you gave us to allow us to pivot to this. So thank you.
Yeah, well, that's so great to hear. And I feel like that's something that we've really been, hearing from the farms that we work with and seeing in our local food system is that so many farmers are responding to COVID and the challenges that that's brought with, innovation and doing totally new things and developing completely new systems and making it possible to continue to get both, essential food and also joy products like yours to people. And that has been really, really inspiring, for us. And we really want, our larger community to see that this is how farmers are responding to this crisis and, doing, what farmers always do, which is figuring out how do we keep going? How do we adapt? So it's great to have you all as an example of farms that have done that in this moment.
Thanks. I'd like to just add to that, that, even though we had been driving such distances before and it was essential for us in order to sell our products and keep our farm going. Yeah. And I had talked about that earlier. Yeah. Our dream has always been to stay right here and to not have to travel and not have to get in the car and to have a connection to this place, to have people to have a connection to this place. And So this feels like, I wouldn't even say a baby step. It feels like a pretty big step to making that happen. And even though people aren't really able to come up to our orchard very easily, because it's kind of down a dirt road and, you know, you'd need to know what you were doing. Being here, this is still part of what we do every day down here on this small part of our farm, and it just feels really connected, and feels really right for us, and kind of pursuing kind of the ideal way of farming for us. Yeah. And then I also want to add on that note, I'm just going to keep adding things, Cider Days weekend, which is the weekend of the 7th and 8th of November. So usually there's a big salon up in Turner's Falls and lots of workshops and things like that celebrate cider. It's been going on for over 25 years. Isn't really happening this year, but there is a cider trail for all the different cideries and apple producers and people that are kind of related to cider production and apples around this valley. In Franklin County and Hampshire County and others. And you can find that on ciderdays.org and see the trail, and we're on it. That weekend we'll be open here, of course, because we always are. But we'll also be having a tasting and a socially distanced version of our Cider Days tasting event up at our press barn at 12 Mount Warner Road. And we'll be giving details on how people can get in there. Usually there's like a wagon ride that goes in, but we're not going to be able to do that. It brings too many people all at once, and we just don't feel like it'd be safe. But, well, you know, if people don't have the ability to drive up or walk in, because it's a long walk, they can come here. And if they are able to do that, then they can come up and visit and bring a picnic and buy some cider and taste some cider. And yeah, so that'll be really fun. And I'm glad we're able to do something just to kind of celebrate that weekend. It's always a great weekend.
Yeah. So a socially distant outdoor way to enjoy some cider and cider products. So that seems great.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, people can find you on Route 47 in Hadley. Stop into the new farm store and check it out, and get some cider and switchel and syrup, and it's very alliterative. That's
yeah.
And shrub.
And shrubs, right? Yeah, and we'll put a link to the Cider Days website and your website when we post this, so people can find more information about you all. And thanks so much for your time and for showing us everything that you're up to. It's so great to see.
You
Thanks
too.
so
Thank
much.
you.